Good morning everyone. This is Sanvi Hippargi, Assistant Professor in CSE Department, NB Navle Sinhgle College of Engineering, Solapur. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 4, Inheritance. These are the points which will be covered throughout the chapter. The reason behind using inheritance is reusability. Existing properties can be reused. This can be done by creating new classes by reusing the properties of existing ones. This mechanism of deriving a new class from an old class is called as inheritance. The old class is called as base class and the new class which is derived is called as derived class. There are types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. In this lecture, we will be concentrating on single inheritance. The types of inheritance can be easily understood with the pictorial representation. The first type of inheritance is single inheritance, where there will be a single base class. The properties of the single base class will be inherited into a derived class. Name of the base class is A. The properties like data members and member functions in A can be reused by inheriting them into the derived class B. Along with the derived members, B can have its own members. Second type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. The name itself says that there will be multiple base classes. For example, A and B are two base classes. The properties of A and B are inherited into the derived class C. So along with the inherited members, C can have its own members. Third type of inheritance is multi-level, where properties of the base class A will be derived into the derived class B. Properties of B will be derived into the derived class C. So C is the derived class which is derived from another derived class. Such kind of inheritance is called as multi-level inheritance. Fourth type of inheritance is hierarchical inheritance, where the inheritance looks like tree-like a structure. The properties of a single base class will be inherited by multiple derived classes. The properties of class A is derived by three derived classes: B, C, D. Such an inheritance is hierarchical. The last type of inheritance is hybrid, which is a combination of first four types of inheritance. In this example, the properties of A are inherited by the derived class B as well as the derived class C. Now, this can be considered as an example of hierarchical inheritance. Then, the properties in B and properties in C are inherited into a single derived class. So this can be considered as multiple inheritance. Properties in A are inherited by B. Properties in B are inherited by D. This can be an example of multi-level inheritance. So this will also contain single inheritance. Properties from A are inherited by B. So this is a combination of first four types of inheritance. If we want to define a derived class, there is a general form of deriving a new class. Its syntax is like this. First of all, we have a keyword class followed by derived class name. Then colon is an operator which is used for inheritance. Visibility mode, base class name. So this first line indicates that the properties of a base class are inherited by this derived class. Now, derived class, along with the inherited properties, derived class can have its own members. Now, the derivation from base class to the derived class can be done in three ways. The visibility mode is optional, and if present, it may be private, public, or protected. This means that properties of the base class will be inherited into derived class in three ways. We can inherit the properties publicly, we can inherit the properties privately, or protectedly. The default visibility mode is private. For example, this is the example of defining derived class. Class is a keyword, ABC is derived class name, colon is an operator which is used for inheritance, XYZ is base class. We are going to derive the properties of XYZ into ABC using private visibility mode. Along with the derived members, ABC can have its own members. Another example where we are deriving the properties of XYZ into ABC publicly. Now, we will see an example of single inheritance using public derivation. Class base. This is the base class. Base class can have its own members. Like A is a data member and it's a private data member. By default, visibility mode of members will be private. Then in public section, we have data member B. We have a function getAB. GetAB is a function which reads the values of A and B from the user. Next function is getA. This is a function which returns the value of A. So return type of the function is int. Show A is a function which displays the value of A. So this is class base, where there are 5 members. A is a private member. Other 4 members are public members. B is a data member. GetAB, GetA, show A. These are functions, member functions. These properties can be inherited into the derived class. So defining the derived class, first we have keyword class, then derived class name, that is derived, colon, then we have a base class. We are going to inherit the properties of base class into derived class publicly. So shortly we will see the meaning of this public derivation. So along with the inherited properties from base class into derived class can have its own members. So C is a data member which is a private